Awesome. So, my name is Ryan. I'm with the Kansas City Defender, and I'm wondering if you could just maybe introduce yourself and kind of talk about what made you inspired to want to purchase the building, and then we can kind of talk about the area that we're in right now also.
Well, I bought this building in 2017, and I was already a resident in the building, a tenant, that is. I had my practice here. And I didn't particularly want to buy the building. I was approached to buy the building. And, I think there was a feeling that they wanted an African American to maintain ownership of this building. It's historical. And I approached my bank with my financing, and they approved my financing. I wasn't the first to be offered it, but I guess at the end, what they said I could buy it for, I accepted that.
And so you said that was 2017, whenever?
Yeah, it was 2017, so I haven't been here as long as the building's around. It's an older building, but a lot of different people have been here, and they put a lot of work into it, including myself. I put lots of my own money into it to keep it up and running. It now houses about 47 black-owned businesses, and they rent below what they could normally get in this market, just to make sure that those businesses can survive. You can literally see the city from my window, and to get this close to downtown for what I'm charging is unheard of.
Definitely.
So.
And just kind of in your experience, being the person owning the building, kind of what has that experience been like, interacting with different people and kind of seeing the area grow in different ways, or kind of ways that it maybe hasn't grown in the way that it should has? Just kind of what's that overall experience been like?
Yeah, well, it's hard. If anyone tells you it'd be hard, especially when you deal with disadvantaged businesses as your source of income, right? African American businesses, there's some that do really well, and there's a lot that don't, right? We're still suffering the issues, that the legacy that has been given to us based on how they wanted African Americans to advance, and that's no different in 2021 than it's ever been. So it's been hard, but I've been meeting a lot of people, and I've been I've gotten a chance to do some activism in the community because of my relationship to this area. But it's a tough road. We got a lot of businesses start up. We don't have access to the financing that a lot of our peers have. We don't have access to the training that a lot of our peers have. But we somehow make it work over the course of a few years now, that I've sort of worked out, just exactly how I'm going to survive doing this.
And I know you mentioned the legacy kind of racism and the ways that that's impacted the black community, specifically here in 18th and Vine. And I know you are currently suing, I think, the city because of the blight.
Yeah, I don't mince words. We're on the other side of the truth dividing line. We were redlined into this area. When Ella Fitzgerald went downtown to play and sing, she couldn't stay in the hotels down there. And that's how you had places like the Mutual Musicians Foundation. They'd come there and do jam sessions after hours. And everyone would come across this town. You had shoe stores, you had all doctors, you had some lawyers, you had a car dealership down here, because this is where we could go. We couldn't even try on clothes without buying them, but here they would allow you to do that. So this is the what they've left for our community. And so the only black community entertainment district that's left for us now is sexier, and people want that now. And so as a result, we've been moved out of this area. If you go up to Beacon Hill now, $600,000 homes, generally not for our community. The city owns 100% of the Jazz District except for this building and a few buildings on Vine Street. So there's literally maybe 3 black owners left, maybe 4 in the entire Jazz District. So gentrification has happened. It's just that we have still a lot of African Americans living down here because the city has made it affordable. But that's changing too, because as the area gentrifies, the rents are getting higher, and it's displacing a lot of people. But while in the meantime, the city has owned 100% of the blighted properties in the Jazz District. Nobody else owns any blighted properties here. We're not allowed to, or else they'll take away from you. And for a while, I had the feeling that the city was weaponizing that blight against the community, because the idea in maintaining that blight, not selling it, not fixing it up, not developing it yourself, is to allow the businesses here to go out of business because there's no development, there's nobody helping, there's no supported infrastructure with other businesses to support the community with tax dollars. We couldn't create a CID, which is a community improvement district, because that relies on taxes that you would get from viable businesses to put 1% away so we could do things like fix the street lights or put mulch in or beautify our area. So none of that can happen down here, as opposed to, when you look at other communities, how that happens. It can't happen here because the city has refused to fix up its blight. So I finally, after asking for several years and hearing all the lies about all of the money that the city was putting down here, I decided I was going to sue them. We'll get to the bottom of the lies. If they're saying that they put a lot of money down here, I can discover whether that's true or not. If they say that, they've got big plans for development, I can discover whether that's true or not. It hasn't been true. And so to the extent that the city will meet my lawsuit or see it and have to defend it, I think it's a good thing. We'll get some answers to some of the questions we've been asking for a long time.
And just for some of our viewers who might not be familiar with the term blight, would you mind just kind of explaining what that is and what it looks like?
Like wrecked buildings, they're not even these buildings that I'm talking about that the city owns and won't develop. They're on the city's own dangerous buildings lists. That's how bad the buildings are. There's a building right behind me. The wall fell out into the street. Wow. It could have hurt somebody. One building, a homeless person was in there trying to keep warm and burned some of it down. The wall fell into the parking lot again over here. It's not just peeling paint or chipped paint or boarded up windows. We're talking about no roofs, floors caved in, roofs caved in, walls just barely standing, just the facade that you can see, trees growing out of the middle of these houses. So to the extent that you and I would do that, the city would come in and fine us and jail us. In fact, they sued the owner of the Mardi Gras that's just up the street on Vine for blight. That's after they gave her a permit to fix the whole thing, and she had put thousands of dollars of her own money. Her building is a palace compared to theirs, and they still tried to take it, which just shows their agenda isn't really to do anything for blight. It's to try to take the buildings from the existing black ownership when their weaponization of the blight didn't work. Because you can just look at their buildings to see that they're not that concerned about blight, but they're really concerned about buying up everything in the area, which they've successfully done. Like I said, there's just few black owners left, and we just want to keep what we have.
Do you feel any sense of responsibility, kind of, being one of the very few black business owners in the area left? Do you feel any type of responsibility kind of to the black community to make sure that this area maintains its history and continues to be a place of importance for the future?
I do. I recognize that as a black businessman, I can't do what my white counterparts do and just do business. If I was going to do business, I would sell the building and just take my money and chips and go home. But I do feel a certain responsibility for the community because this is what we have, and I don't want to sell our legacy. It would be less burdensome if I was white. I would just, do the naked capitalist thing, sell and, buy low and sell high and whatnot. But like I said, we haven't gotten anything left. They have Crossroads now. Crossroads is literally the hood, the old hood. That's what we used to call the hood. Now it's Crossroads, latte shops and vegan things and all kinds of excuse me, all kinds of nice shiny buildings. We don't have that down here. Beacon Hill, like I said, when everybody sold Grandmama's house, they moved in there with $600,000 houses. The bottoms even, no one used to go down there. Now those are all condos and whatnot. They redid the river market even. You name the area, and it's gentrifying right in front of our eyes. You see nice, shiny buildings going up in what we traditionally call the hood. In fact, you see nice shiny houses going up in the hood, where right next to a house that still looks like it's in the hood, because they know what's coming. I mean, one thing we should learn from the dominant people in our society is they sense an opportunity, and they sense an opportunity here, and we can see there's already people vying for plots of land and what they're going to do with it and things like that. We just still don't have the resources. For those of us like myself who may have some resources, I think we have an obligation to sort of safeguard what little we have and what little society is going to allow us to keep.
Definitely. And just the last question, anything that you want the people to know that you haven't already covered yet? We have a lot of black viewers, especially young black viewers. Is there anything that you would want to tell them?
You've got to stop listening to lies. You know, people have been saying forever, they put $27 million down here. Even the city's not saying that. So people are quick to criticize me and say, oh, Henry's always complaining. It's because I pay attention. They say they put $7 million, and you don't see $7 million worth of anything down here. And even if you did, you've got to look to see what was happening. Like, I'm old enough to remember, and a lot of you guys are, when there was no downtown, there was no Sprint Center, there was no Power and Light. They developed an entire entertainment district while they were looking at the jazz district and doing nothing with it. And that's important because the city's known for jazz. That's what Kansas City's known for. Going to Kansas City, you know, is one of the major jazz songs, you know. It's a jazz city. And yet there is no developed jazz district. So you got to ask yourself, seriously, how is it that we have a Crossroads now, but no jazz district? Why do we have a Power and Light, but no jazz district? How did they redevelop the River Market without doing anything with the jazz district? And how did the Plaza get more money? You know, the Bottoms got more money. I mean, we've got to ask and stop fooling ourselves. It's on purpose. Like, there's no way you could miss such a glaring inconsistency that there's nothing for the jazz district, but there's all kinds of money for all these other areas. See, the plan is, generally speaking, is you wait, you blighted up the area. There's crap there. There's crime. There's nothing there for anybody. So all the people like myself move out. The city buys everything, or white investors buy everything, and then all of a sudden, there's all of this money for investment to go down in there, and it's nice and shiny again. And we have been asking. We wanted to be a Crossroads. Why did they skip us? We can look down the road. Where's our new developed area? Well, what happened is nobody wanted to be down there. But when everyone moved out and everybody sold Grandmama's house, that's where you got the Crossroads from. When they sold Grandmama's house up the road in Beacon Hill, now there is tax incentives for everybody to develop. And so we're just determined to keep what we have here. It's not much, but our black community has been focused here for decades, and so we should fight for it. You know, I talk about it like, it's sort of like your wife leaves you because she wins $1 million, and then you win $2 million, and then your wife wants to come back. So nobody wanted us before. They didn't even care about this. They could care less whether we lived or died down here. But now that there's development and talks of development, everybody wants it. But it's not just that they want to come and participate in our communities. They want what we have. They want this building. They want the Zodiac, which is a historical motorcycle club, the oldest black motorcycle club in America on the historical registry. They want Smacks, or the Velvet Freeze, which they legitimately outbid the city for and paid for. They want the historic Mardi Gras, which they've already sued the owner for. They lost. I represented her. And then their plan will be complete. I guarantee if we all sold tomorrow, there'd be development tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate you taking some time to speak to us on The Defender.
No problem. Take care. Good luck.